Welcome back to the revolution, and welcome to Pisces season. The camera's already freezing. It's been freezing for about 20 minutes. Way before I started, I was just checking the lighting and doing everything, and it was just... the energy is magic. No one was able to sleep last night. Most people fell asleep around 3 or 4 a.m., had very lucid dreams, and woke up out of Aquarius season into Pisces season feeling like, okay, the fixed air has dissipated, mutable water is here. It's misty, it's kind of rainy, it's kind of like spring is already starting to show itself a little bit. I was reading something about objects that find their way back to the owner. It's a book by Lyle Watson, in which he goes into the myth of the ring in the fish. So often a ring that has been lost will show up in front of that same person in the belly of a fish who has swallowed it and then somehow found its way back. It's as if the fish was a vehicle for that belonging, that connection to find its way back. And that's apt because Pisces is a series of connections. That's mutable water. Pisces season examines all your connections. It sends you into a place where there is that non-dual, that one mind. Behind the black and the white of the yin-yang, behind the two fish swimming, is the knowledge of the two being one. And Pisces is the non-duality behind the dual, which can really confuse a lot of people because we live in a world of zeros and ones. We live in a world of duality. And so for us to think outside of that is counterintuitive for one, but also very difficult. It doesn't feel quite right to look at the negative and the positive as one whole thing. And I think that's why people can get really frustrated with Pisces, because we want to be on one side or the other. We want to think that certain people are deserving of our compassion and our understanding and other people are not. We want to believe that love only comes in certain respectable forms. And Pisceans, just any kind of delineation, any kind of boundary, any gradient that you try to put them on, they're just looking at you like, we're mutable water. Like, we are water that changes form. There is nothing that we have as a mental construct that can hold the Piscean imagination. They are our collective 12th house, incarnated as beings, walking around, channeling that beautiful, unconsciously, completely tapped in creative energy. They're walking around channeling that energy to all of us. So, in this season, you will find that, well, like all water season, the water signs are very good at their season. So you will find Pisceans just swimming around. You know, it's celebration time. It's time to enjoy yourself. It's time to get dressed up and celebrate. You know, the hardship is over. The light is back. The warmth is coming back. The reason the ring shows up in the fish is because the fish is the womb. The fish is what you dream of when there's going to be a pregnancy. It is the cosmic womb. It is where everything comes like a bowl and rests at the end. And from there, life, because Pisceans are associated with life, new life, the coming of life. And so it is the emergence of life again out of the primordial water, out of the depths and death of winter, and then the suffocation of fixed air. Then we have this blossoming of life in sort of this hot, moist place. Not the most pleasant description, I understand, but you have to take Pisces for what they are. They are that and also everything else. I think it's Sir Gawain who has to, I think so, right? Who has to deal with nature and she is so wretched, you know, and she smells so bad. She smells like the bottom of the sea. And so with that beautiful, you know, mermaid sort of ethereal Piscean energy, there's also, why is it freezing? There's also the depth of the ocean, the terrifying nature of the deep. Often it is said, rightly so, that the bottom of the ocean is far stranger and less explored than outer space, and truly that the aliens are, you know, in the deep. Absolutely, there is something terrifying about the season, because unlike cardinal water, Cancer season, where you know things are going to get pushed through, unlike Scorpio season, where you know that that death is coming, that you will be held under and you will be drowned. Pisces is, well, you just don't know. We don't know the subconscious. We know that Scorpio is going to hold us under. We're aware of what the season will bring. We know that cardinal water means that our emotions will be all over the place and we'll be running really, really high on intuition. But Pisces is taking both of those things and combining it. There will be a rebirth. There is heightened intuition. There is direction. There is strength. There is resolve. There is devotion. It's all of the watery things put into one individual, put into one time of year. And so, you know, the light is more beautiful. The air gets softer. It gets warmer. It gets more humid. You feel better. You know that there has been a time of trial and the abundance starts to show itself. So you'll find this season the gifts start to come in again. Money starts to come in again. Love always makes an appearance in March at some point. And yet we have this persistent, you know, myth of the Ides of March. The middle of March can get a little bit weird. And I think it's because people who are not accustomed to this really strong water energy can get really thrown off track. If you let your emotions ride you this month, you're going to come into Aries season going, what did I do and how much do I have to pay for it? Because I wasn't even thinking. I didn't even think of it that way. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I was thinking. That happens a lot at the end of Pisces season because people have been going solely off of their emotion, but also their gut. It's a combination, and that brings me to what I want to talk about for all the signs for Pisces season. Pisces season is about something called Gnosis. Gnosis is the knowing that results from the gut and the mind being able to grasp something together. So the mind knows that rationally I understand this to be true, or I can make sense of it. And the gut knows that this thing is true. The knowing that most water signs, but most everybody, you know, not relegated just to the water signs, most everybody has this heightened sense of intuition if we just get quiet and listen, which is why meditation and yoga are so important. So when you combine the two, which Greg Braden calls the Isaiah effect, and there's actually a very good book about the Isaiah effect by Greg Braden, where he goes into the Nag Hammadi text, and it's fascinating. The audiobook is dope. So RevFam Book Club, trust me, you want to read the Isaiah effect or listen to it. But the Gnosis, the knowing of the mind and the knowing of the gut produce a knowing of the heart. And the knowing of the heart is that Pisces just let the floodgates of creativity, abundance, connection to the other side, let it all open. When the heart knows, it's unstoppable. You know, and you'll often find this with Pisces, when they get on their wave, when they get in their rhythm, when they get in their bag, you know. So, what and how does that Gnosis apply to the signs? Well, let's go through them very quickly and let's do it in order so no one feels left out. So Aries, Gnosis, that's easy. You got that in the bag. Except that you're going to want to go, because you take that Gnosis of Pisces and go, perfect, let me just go do this. Not quite so fast. This is not the season to go yet. It will approach quickly. We'll talk about it more in your video, but we still have a slight amount of prep to do. Sure, there's certain things you can start to let flow, but remember, flow is the name of the game. When you start to see black and white, Aries, you're doing it wrong. You need to get back to the non-dual behind the black and white, right? Aquarius, very black and white. Very black and white in a lot of ways. Very black and white, very fixed. Pisces goes, okay, but behind the black and white, the two fish make the wholeness of the Tao, right? Why does it keep... Nothing's touching it. Nothing's anywhere near it. Why does it keep freezing? I'm just going to stop it. Okay, hopefully starting it again will cut back on some of our issues. So, you have the knowing, but it is not quite time to go yet, because you are coming out of a season of black and white, which isn't always the best for you. So Pisces season is going to teach you how to look at the wholeness behind it, and that takes a little contemplation, and that takes time, and that takes patience, and that takes a bit of removal. So just chill. Yes, that's very annoying advice, but we'll get more into it in your video. The best way that Aries can use Pisces season is to be the surfer, man. Get on that wave and see where it takes you. Have a little bit of faith that the murkiness of the subconscious has something to teach you, even if it doesn't have quite the amount of direction that you desire. It can be a little all over the place, but Pisces has a point, and it's a point that they get to beautifully if you let them take their own road. And Pisces season is about that faith. You have to defer to them in this season. They know what they're doing, even if they don't seem like they know what they're doing. You have to trust them. And you have to trust the wave that is Pisces season. So Aries, that means not trusting yourself as much as you trust the flow of the events of your life around you. And I know that's such a hard switch. Right. Taurus. Yeah, I think things will continue to go well. You might feel yourself being a bit more emotional than you would want, but also I think so many of you have learned how to use those emotions as fuel. And so, yeah, I don't see how you can really go wrong in Pisces season, except if you let the violence rear its ugly head, which you should at all costs not do right now. So outside of don't use your horns and don't be physically violent, probably want to watch your words a little bit in terms of how cutting your words are, or how sharp you're being. That's kind of old news, but not for the reasons you think. So we've been talking a lot about saving your karma and just being careful with, because you have so many good things coming to you. Now it becomes more about people really wanting to poke holes in something that you've already pretty much repaired. There's always this need to victimize the bull, and you always have to constantly be on guard against it. And so that also may be tiresome and annoying, but I think you're already beginning to feel that here and there people would love to poke a few holes in your abundance boat. So we'll talk more about that. Pisces season can make some people very sneaky, and I find that being sneaky towards Taurus is one of those things people love to do because no one wants to confront a bull head on. Speaking of confrontations, Gemini. The mutable season. Thank you, God. Mutable season. Okay, back in the flow. So if you have not been petty, if you have been keeping to the script, if you have just let yourself unblock your blessings, Pisces season washes in with even more, but with a discernment, with an organization, with a subtlety of style, where we're saying, okay, Gemini, we're obviously going to bigger and bigger places, better and better places. Are you dressed for it? Are you the right amount of polished for it? How much more does this need to get leveled up? How much more do you need to upgrade yourself right now to match where your blessings are taking you? Do you look the part? And we'll go more into that. Okay, Next, Cancers. So Cancers are, yeah, okay. You may feel like things are a sick joke right now because there's not anywhere that you feel that you can go and voice your complaints. You may feel very alone right now. One of the unfortunate side effects of this North Node placement and of a certain amount of success or a certain amount of isolation, however it's translating for you, is this loneliness. Whether you're isolated or not, it causes a sense of loneliness and feeling like you can't talk to people about it for one reason or another. It doesn't have to be because you have a lot or because you have nothing or because you don't want to be a burden or because you have been a burden for a long time. It doesn't matter because you did something wrong, because somebody else did something wrong. You just feel this need to express yourself and to say what it is, but you cannot find a forum for it. And I think you may start to feel a bit of the pains of your self-imposed isolation. So we'll work through that and hopefully find some ways to mitigate that. Get some good messages there. Next, Leo. Leo, you are, as silly as it sounds, already revving up for your coming season. Even the brightness of the day, like every little bit of sunshine, and we're just getting closer and closer to a time where you finally feel at home. And I have to say, lately I've really been thinking a lot about just day and night, just the simple concepts of day and night, and of daylight and of sunlight, and how sunlight has the ability to change everything into something that is palatable and feasible for us as humans without terrifying us. There are things that we will do in the daylight that we would never do at night. And the fact that you guys have that sun energy and you bring that sunlight and everyone associates that brightness with you, that light with you, there are probably a lot of things that people are only able to do in your presence with your energy, utilizing you in some way. And where are the lines for that? Where do we draw the lines when you have a really big heart and are naturally generous and have this sunlight to give, and it is your nature to give it? Where do we draw the line between wanting to be the sun for everyone and needing some of that sun for us, for ourselves? And do we become, do you have to become a second sun for yourself? Worth thinking about. So we'll look at that. That will play with that idea of duality that Pisces season brings up, because the duality can only be, the oneness can only be understood once the duality is pronounced. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Gemini, hopping back for a second, Gemini will also experience that beautiful meshing of their own dual nature. So the twins get really on board. The twins are on message this month, which is dope. We love that. Okay. Next. From Leo, we go to Virgo. Virgos are going through a period of truth. Truth is wonderful. It means progress. It means love. It means promotion. It means access. It means more information, more to crunch, more to learn, more insight. But it can also mean pain. It can mean embarrassment. It can mean public humiliation in some ways. It can mean the loss of a certain reputation. So there's a lot of things going on with Virgos that have to do with the sun sitting across from you. The full moon in Virgo is tomorrow night. So that gives you this huge push in terms of your emotional gunk. If there's anything under there that's been swimming, and we know, Virgo, that there is, then it has to come up now. It has to come out, and it comes out in this almost harsh Piscean way, the way Pisces can be with people, where they just can cut right to the heart of something with one phrase, and you're just like, okay, you didn't need to read me like that. That was completely unnecessary. I have not done anything to you to deserve that, So you may find that energy directed at your love life, but also how you stand in the world, where you stand in the world, what people think of you, what people say about you. So a lot to unpack there. Then we go into Libra. Libras, I feel, are coming into a very beautiful time. Libras like the aesthetic, I feel, that Pisces season brings with it. There's something, again, beautiful and warm and just ethereal beauty is that Pisces vibe, and Libra digs that. You know, Libra's just into anything that has that importance or prioritization for beauty, right? They like, Libras dig it. So again, the duality of the two fish works for you as well. You have settled into a place of promotion. You are probably wanting to see more of that. You're becoming a bit impatient, I think, in terms of, I would like more abundance. Like the other stuff is good. We're taking care of a lot. We're getting a lot done. You know, emotionally, we've come very far. Relationships are starting to even out. Now I would like to keep going in terms of, I want more money. I want more status, if you will. So as soon as Libra gets a little bit of breathing room, they start playing this game. We know you do. So let's just, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's part of your nature. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, let's work with it. Because Pisces season is also about like seeing the more important aspects behind the material. And so there is a part of Libra that can, the transcended Libra loves that aspect, but the more material Libra can be a bit miffed by it. So, you know, walking that line. Can you see all the duality at play here? Okay. Then from Libra, we go to Scorpio. So Scorpio, water sign, back at it again. Water rushing to you, the water signs just benefiting from this energy. You have a really exciting wave that you definitely are riding. You're catching that wave. There might be a bit of a dip in that wave, but I think you guys are pretty set on the flow. You're pretty sure of which way you want to ride this and how far you want to go with it. Some of you are abandoning ship off some big stuff. We'll also talk about that because you don't feel seen enough. There's a big push right now for Scorpio to be seen. You want to be seen for what you are. You want to be known for, like, you don't want any misconceptions. You don't want any misconceptions right now about who you are and what you are and what's being said about you or what's being done out there, like in your name. You have some house cleaning you want to do in terms of what people are saying. Like Pisces season can be that time where people are a little too chatty and like certain signs don't play that. So if you're like a little too chatty and talking shit, and like if it's about a Scorpio, I would be really careful because Scorpios are not having it this month. And they're definitely being a bit more territorial right now, which is so counterproductive in mutable water season, but you try talking fixed water out of not being territorial. Let me know how far you get. 10 years from now when you get the chance, when you get a minute to say something. No, that wasn't shade. From Scorpio, we go to Sag, and let's see. Sag, do you get just bored when things go okay? Like, I'm not trying to read you because we'll read you in the video, but do you just get antsy when things are good? Do you need something to aim at? Like, is it just, do paper targets just get old? Like, I often wonder this. If you're an archer by nature, would the targets just get old? Like, yes, it's wonderful to test your skill. It's wonderful to exhibit your ability. It's lovely. But don't you get tired of the paper targets? Don't you ever, like, want to just, like, hunt something for real or shoot something for real or defend something for real? I feel like you guys get into this space of almost fire season again. Almost fire season again. We want that, you know, we want the hunt, the blood, the lust, the you get like a little bit of like, you start to miss the blood on your teeth or the blood on the tip of your arrow. I don't know what it is, but there's this warrior fighter spirit in you that is like so impatient, and mutable water just is like getting in the way. You know, it's like, I can see past this to Aries season already, and it's going to be so lit, you know, but Pisces season is going to be so lit because there's things yet to explore in the heart center, in the Gnosis, that will make Aries season even more lit, that will make your fire season even more lit. So what is that Gnosis? What is that for Sagittarius? Well, I think if there's anyone who understands it, it's Sagittarius. You have the emotional intelligence to get there. You may want to work this month on the gut, because you ignore your gut a lot, which I don't get, but I do get, because you're intelligent. And so a lot of times intelligence is forced to walk a very straight road. You know, you're not allowed to dabble too much with the mystic and with the irrational. So maybe getting in touch with that magical knowing that you can't necessarily define or quantify or, you know, reference to a certain work or a certain idea or a certain philosophy. This is beyond all that. This is the inexplicable, the supernatural. You know, this is a season of learning from, you know, it's that idea in the Vedas of the soma. So the soma we know now was made of grain, but on the grain was this fungus that had lysergic acid in it, LSD. And the Vedic would, the Aryans would ferment this and then drink the fermented LSD that was in it, and have these visions, and they gained all this esoteric knowledge and philosophical knowledge about all this stuff in math and science and everything. And it was done through this, you know, ethnobotanical vehicle of gaining the Gnosis. So I think Sagittarius has the ability, the transcendent Sagittarius has the ability to see past just the logical and the rational, and see past even the intellectually abstract into a place that cannot perhaps be intellectually defined at all, into a place that goes specifically on that feeling. That is a combination of knowing and gut, but it's something else. And that's something else, once a Sagittarius grasps it, it's like riding a bike, then you never catch them. And this season gives you another chance to try your hand at it. Hey, you may get it this time. I'm so annoyed. Excuse me for one moment. Thank you. Appreciate it. So let's move on, because I'm just losing focus. So now we move to Capricorn season. Capricorns in Pisces season. So Capricorns, the lack of direction. Let me just tell you what you're gonna think. You're gonna think it's wishy-washy. You're gonna think it's too emotional. You're gonna think it's kind of a waste of time. You're gonna want the weather to make up its mind. You're gonna want people to make up their mind. You're gonna want everyone to stop crying and make a decision. You're gonna want everyone to do what they say they're gonna do, and no one is going to do what they say they're gonna do. Let's talk about it more in your video. Okay. So now, Aquarius. You know, I like to spend a little extra time on the sign that has just passed, because the transition for you can be so difficult. So fixed air to mutable water. You have been let out of the submarine, but the submarine is in the middle of a typhoon when you surface. Wonderful, wonderful. So I can't breathe turns into, oh God, we're drowning. We ran out of air to, there's air up here, but there's a lot of water, and I still can't breathe. So a lot of yoga, a lot of meditating. Try to acclimate yourself to the water. Running water creates negative ions. Try to get by the water. Do some sun eating. Watch the sun go down. Try to ground your feet to the earth barefoot. Do the things that you know will give you more of a connection to this collective energy of the non-dual, behind the black and white. Everything that you stand for and understand in an abstraction made into an actuality that is almost terrifying. So the things you think Pisces goes out there and lives and does, and you're like, are you actually doing that? Yeah, they're actually doing it. It's nuts. No, nobody understands how they get the guts to do it. If you ask them, I don't think they even think it's about guts. I think they think it's just like, it's just being a Pisces. Like, just Pisces just do whatever Pisces want to do. And it's stuff that honestly we can't do. And a lot of times when Aquarius is confronted with something they can't do, they have a tendency to get really frustrated because you are good at so many things. But to be perfectly honest, nobody is good at what the water signs do except the water signs. And the Pisceans, being the mutable of the water signs, has perhaps the most range in terms of ability. So manifestations are high, Aquarius. Looping is not an option this month. I'm sorry, I keep telling you that every month. And you're like, well, do I get a month to do what I do best? Hopefully not. Hopefully you lose the habit of doing it altogether. We can only hope. But for now, the looping will cause the thing you think about to show up in front of you. And that goes for everyone. So that Aquarian part of all of us, where an idea, if it doesn't make sense, we can get stuck there. We need to not do that right now, because if you get stuck with these fish swimming in a circle, you're going to waste the whole season. You're going to waste the whole season, and you'll feel so exhausted and emotionally spent at the end, and you'll have nothing to show for it, and you'll just be like, what happened? And that's always the fear in every water season. If you let it drown you, it will, especially if it's a typhoon. So that Aquarian part of all of us that needs things to, even if they are abstract, to make sense, that part of you needs to check itself. Pisces season will not make sense until it's over. It's the kind of thing that, it's intuition. It's pure, raw, subconscious. It's, what is that? And then 2 days later, you're like, oh my God, that's exactly how it should have been. Right. So Aquarius, even if you don't understand it, trust it. Good. That brings us to the end. I am not going to put this up until the guided meditation for Pisces season is ready as well. So you can click probably right here and go to that meditation, and it's guided. It's yours. You own it after that. You can use it for the rest of the season. But I find that the Scorpio season guided meditation, people still do it. Because it was just about being overwhelmed by water. So that one is still cool as well. But the Pisces season one will go more into how do you use first of all, how to calm yourself during Pisces season, but then also how to use the power of visualization meditation to put your manifestation order out there, right? How to use this wonderful magic that we have of the 12th house subconscious. How do we form something out of it in a gentle, loving, grateful way that isn't about demanding, right? Pisces is about love, the knowing of the heart. The heart does not demand. Love does not demand. And so this is not the season to be like, I want this. I'm going to go get this. That's Aries season, and it's not here yet. If you exhibit Aries energy in Pisces season, you will run afoul of the wave. You will be standing against the wave, and it will hurt. So this is a season where we form and we ask in magical ways. We form and we ask in symbolic ways. We form and we ask with the language of the subconscious. And so that will be packaged into the guided meditation as well. The suit. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the suit. Pisces season requires a certain classic flair. This is the suit that I will be wearing at the New York satsang and at the London satsang. This is my the next two satsangs outfit. And I think it perfectly illustrates what this season is about, which is a relaxed elegance. It's a beauty that isn't all buttoned up. It's a beauty that isn't all structured. Although there is a structure, it's about the drape of the thing. It's about the fall and the line of the thing. And this is Temperley, and I think it's spring summer 19, and I think it reflects that perfectly. Once again, happy Pisces season. Shout out Wild Oleander for my Lunar New Year nails. Wild Oleander is in Brooklyn. We'll be having our full moon in Virgo, super moon satsang there tomorrow night. It is sold out, and I don't think there are any more tickets available at the door, so I'm sorry actually for even mentioning it. I just wanted to put it out there because my nails are so fly, but hopefully we'll be doing lots of events with them, inshallah, and you can check out their handiwork on my nails anytime I'll be in New York. Okay, so guided meditation above. It'll be on Vimeo, and I'll try to actually put it out as an audio file on iTunes, but for now it'll definitely be on Vimeo and on Shopify. Okay, videos start right after this. We made it, fam. Almost the new year, too. Almost the astrological, zodiacal new year. Such exciting stuff. There is a bit of nostalgia in closing this manifestation series out because from the next Aries season coming up here, we begin a new series of videos about how each sign behaves in love, not how to use the energy for manifestation, because we've gone through the cycle now. So thank you to all of you for enjoying the manifestation series. It has been a pleasure to do. I've learned a lot just doing it. I'm very happy that we started this new edition, and I hope you've learned some tips, maybe some quirky facts. Maybe you've learned how to relate to people of certain signs a little bit better. So yeah, gratitude all around. You know I love you. That's a given. Rev Femme for life. I'll see you soon.